Here is something Western parenting culture tells you with complete confidence. Do not co-sleep. Do not carry your baby too much. Do not let them eat complex food before they are ready. Do not give them responsibility before they are old enough. And here is what is extraordinary about every single one of those instructions. The science disagrees with all of them. Not partially, not in edge cases, fundamentally and consistently across decades of research. Japan has maintained one of the highest average IQs in the world for generations, across millions of children, across every socioeconomic level. And the answer to why does not begin in a classroom or a curriculum or a government education initiative. It begins in a moment that most Western parents would look at and call neglect. A Japanese mother watching her 1-year-old fall, looking up at her, crying, waiting for rescue, and her doing something that goes against every instinct Western parenting has spent decades cultivating. Nothing. She watches, she waits, she trusts, and in that single moment of deliberate, loving, scientifically informed restraint, she is doing something for her child's developing brain that no amount of educational toys, structured classes, or carefully curated activities could ever replicate. Today, I am going to show you exactly what that something is. 4 things Japanese parenting understands about the developing brain that Western culture not only ignores, but actively argues against, and what the science says about why Japan keeps being right. The first is called skinship, and it is the one that Western parenting has fought the hardest and gotten the most consistently wrong. Skinship is a Japanese concept that does not translate perfectly into English, which is part of why the West never fully absorbed it. The closest meaning is closeness, built through skin contact. In Japan, mothers and babies bathe together every single night. Co-sleeping continues often until the child is 6 or 7 years old. Babies are carried against the body in slings for the first 2 years of life, not pushed in strollers at a physical and emotional distance, held against a heartbeat, against warmth, against the one body their nervous system has recognized since before birth. Now here is what Western parenting tells you about all of this. Co-sleeping creates dependency. Carrying too much spoils them. They need to learn to self-soothe. They need independence early. And here is what the research actually shows. A study published in Developmental Psychology found that infants who experienced consistent physical closeness in their first year showed measurable changes at the molecular level, specifically in the genes controlling stress response. Not behavioral changes, molecular ones. Other research from the University of Notre Dame linked early skin contact to stronger emotional regulation and significantly better cognitive performance years later. The nervous system of a securely held infant does not become dependent. It becomes regulated. And a regulated nervous system is the neurological foundation of everything that follows. Every skill, every relationship, every moment of self-control a child will ever produce. Japan never abandoned the ancient understanding that a held baby is a brain being built. Western parenting decided that was spoiling. The data disagrees. The second thing Japanese parenting understands is about food, and it is the one that surprises most Western parents when they hear it for the first time. In Japan, weaning does not start with bland rice cereal or sweet fruit puree. It starts at 5 to 6 months with miso broth, soft white fish, seaweed steamed vegetables, tofu, real, complex, savory food introduced to a developing brain at the precise window when that brain is most hungry for what real food can provide. The infant brain is approximately 60% fat. A significant portion of that fat is DA, an omega-3 fatty acid that the brain uses to build its own architecture. Without adequate DA, the brain cannot construct itself properly. A landmark study from the University of Bristol tracked thousands of children across years. Mothers who consumed more seafood during pregnancy and early infancy had children with measurably higher verbal IQ, stronger fine motor skills, and more developed social cognition by age 8. Japanese babies have one of the highest dietary intakes of da in the world, and Japanese children have some of the highest measured cognitive outcomes in the world. Western parenting gives babies rice cereal and applesauce. These are calories. They are not brain food. The first food a child tastes is not just nutrition. It is the beginning of a relationship between that child and the complexity of the real world. Japanese parents begin that relationship with depth and reality, and the brain they are building reflects exactly that choice. The third thing Japanese parenting understands is about language, and it is the one that costs nothing and is available to every parent starting in the next 60 seconds. In Japan, there is a practice called katarikake. It translates loosely as narrating childcare. From the day a Japanese baby is born, mothers speak to them in full normal sentences. They explain what they are doing. They describe the weather outside the window. They narrate the preparation of dinner. They talk to a child who cannot yet respond as though that child is already a full participant in the conversation. Western parenting hears this and reaches instinctively for a different register: the high-pitched, exaggerated voice, the simplified vocabulary, the dumbed-down language that treats a baby as someone who cannot yet understand complexity. But here is what the research shows. Researchers Betty Hart and Todd Risley conducted one of the most significant studies in developmental science history. They found that the number of words a child hears before the age of 3 is one of the strongest predictors of academic success years later. By kindergarten, some children had heard 30 million more words than others. 30 million. And those children consistently outperformed their peers across every academic measure studied. Katarikake does not simplify. It does not talk down. It assumes the opposite of what Western parenting assumes: that the baby is already listening, that the baby is already building, that every word landing in that developing brain is being used for something, even if no response comes back yet. Because here is the truth that Japanese parenting has always understood, and the science has now confirmed. The baby is already listening. They were listening before the research told us they were. And every word spoken to them in the ordinary moments of an ordinary day is laying the neurological foundation for the person they are becoming. The fourth thing is the one that the Western parenting culture resists most powerfully, and it is the one the research supports most completely. Japanese children are given real responsibility long before Western culture believes they are ready for it. From the moment a Japanese child can walk, they are given genuine tasks. They pour their own water, they carry the groceries, they put their own shoes away at 2 years old. In Japan, there is a television program that has run on national television since 1991 called Hajimete no Otsukai. It translates as My First Errand. The show follows toddlers as young as 2.5 as they navigate real city streets alone to complete a task for their family. Real traffic, real shops, real responsibility. To Western viewers, it is shocking. To Japanese families, it is simply what children do. Because the assumption underneath Japanese parenting is fundamentally different from the assumption underneath Western parenting. In Western parenting, the default assumption about a 2-year-old is, he is too young. Let me do it for him. In Japanese parenting, the assumption is reversed. He is already 2. Of course he can try. And Marty Rossman at the University of Minnesota spent 25 years tracking children into adulthood to find out which assumption was correct. The single strongest predictor of adult success, stronger than IQ, stronger than family income, stronger than parental education, was whether the child had been given genuine household responsibilities beginning between ages 3 and 4. Not rewards for compliance, not chores as punishment. Responsibility as a baseline expectation of who the child already is. Western parenting delays responsibility to protect the child. Japanese parenting gives responsibility early to trust the child. And trust, it turns out, is the most powerful brain-building tool available, because a child who is trusted with difficulty discovers what they are capable of. And a child who spends their early years discovering what they are capable of grows into an adult who already knows. Here is what connects all 4 of these things: skinship, real food, katarikake, early responsibility. They are not techniques applied to a child from the outside. They are expressions of a single underlying understanding that Japanese parenting has carried for generations, and that Western parenting has systematically argued against. That the child in front of you is already more capable, more receptive, more ready, and more neurologically hungry for reality than the culture around you has told you to believe. Skinship says your body is building their nervous system. Real food says their brain deserves real nourishment. Katerikake says their mind is already listening. And early responsibility says their hands are already ready. The smartest children in the world are not being trained. They are being trusted. And that trust expressed through physical closeness, real food, constant language, and genuine responsibility does not produce obedient children. It produces capable ones, children who grow into adults, who do not need to be told what to do, because they have known since they were 2 years old that they were already someone who could figure it out. Western parenting told you that most of this would spoil them. Japan spent generations proving otherwise, and the science spent decades catching up. You can start any of these tonight. Not all of them, not perfectly, just one decision in one ordinary moment. To hold a little longer, to feed a little more honestly, to speak a little more fully, to trust a little more completely. If this changed the way you see what your child is already capable of, share it with one parent who needs to hear it today. And subscribe to WiseRoots Parenting, because there is a lot more coming.